Good afternoon, everyone. It says I'm live. So it's been a while since I've done a live broadcast. And so I wanted to jump on here and talk to you about something that is near and dear to my heart and something that I talk about almost every day. And if you've been following me on TikTok, yes, I have a TikTok. Just look for dr.philip.a.foster and you'll find me over there, or you can go to our website maximumchange.com and there's a link to our TikTok, and I do a lot of TikToks there. But I've been talking about starting a business. A lot of people are worried about starting a business, and I think, based on my experience, people are afraid to start businesses because they think it's harder than it actually is. And so I wanted to talk to you about a few things that'll help you to get started. Hopefully this won't be too long of a video, but I've provided links. Hopefully they're showing on the screen or near the screen. But one of the things that I tell people is, starting an online business is extremely easy. And yesterday I did a video, it's kind of a step by step on how you could use Facebook to set up a business page and to actually set up a shopping cart so you could have your own business. And a lot of times you'll see people say, you got to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get started. And really, you don't. You don't need to spend a lot of money to get started. It's really easier than you think. But one of the things that I tell people is if you know basic computer functionality like drag and drop, and you can type even if it's, hunt and peck, there's a lot of tools out there that help you to set up websites. And some of them are free, some of them are not that expensive at all. But let me just tell you a couple of things you need if you're going to set up a website. Number one, you need a domain name. Domain name is what you type in. That www.google.com is a domain name. So you need a domain name. You need to come up with a name that's going to make sense. And I could actually do training videos that last hours on ways to come up with domain names. And there are different tools out there on how you can obtain a domain name. There's, Network Solutions, which is, one of the first ones that was out there. There's GoDaddy. There's other ones out there. All you need to do is a Google search for, setting up a domain name. Now, you can actually go to some of these websites that allow you to set up domain names, where you can also set up where you can actually set up your website as well. And I'm just trying to copy a link over here for you. This is an affiliate link for Wix. And if I can type Wix, this is an affiliate link, meaning that I get credit if you use it to sign up for a website. But this link will take you to Wix.com. And let me see if I can get that. Boom. Let go. Maybe. It's not working. Hold on. There it goes. All right, so that affiliate link will get you to Wix. Now, Wix is one of the drag and drop websites that you can set up. Now, the cool thing about going to Wix.com is you can actually set up a website or play around with the functionality. And I know it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. There'll be people out there that'll say, oh, no, you need to get WordPress. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't have the time to learn how to set up WordPress, and I don't care how many times someone tells me it's really easy. I'm going to tell you it's not. And that's just my opinion. And I know someone's going to come along and they'll say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to tell you, if you don't know a lot of computer technology and ease, it's not going to be as easy as you think if you use WordPress. I'm not saying WordPress is bad, because you can have incredible websites. I just don't have the time or energy or desire to learn how to use WordPress. But Wix and other programs like it, I think GoDaddy also has a drag and drop now, but you can find these out there where you can actually use templates to get set up, and they have different templates for different business styles. So if you're a restaurant, they have templates for that. If you're an e-commerce site, they have templates for that. I'd go on to Wix.com and start playing around with the free before you even buy a domain name, and then figure out how to do that. Setting up a business can be complicated because there's a lot of pieces to it. But if you chunk it, I tell people all the time, the best way to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And so what you'll want to do is you'll want to just take one bite at a time. If you're thinking about starting a business, or you have a business idea and you're trying to figure out how to get it out there on the internet, you can look for my video that I did, and I'll have it posted over on my YouTube channel here soon, probably in the next 24 hours or so from the time of this recording. But I did this video on how to set up a shopping cart, basically, or an e-commerce site using your Facebook. And so that is free, by the way. Now, you can use PayPal or other processors to collect money. Venmo, Cash App, all those are out there. But PayPal usually integrates with a lot of different platforms. And then there's Stripe, which is starting. Stripe used to be really expensive. They used to have a monthly fee and all these other crazy things. And if you didn't use it, they charged you this fee. But Stripe is actually coming around, and they're not bad. I use Square Up. So there's all these different options out there for business. PayPal I've been with the longest, and all of them are pretty much the same with fees. If you're really fee conscious, you'll need to shop that and see what works best for you. But Wix.com is a solution that's really easy for someone who doesn't have a lot of programming experience. If you do have a little bit of programming experience and you know a little bit of HTML, you can start playing with some of the more robust features there. But Wix is really cool because it offers you all kinds of solutions. Now, keep in mind, the more tools that you use with any of these platforms, the price changes. So if you want to have a robust e-commerce site through Wix, it's going to cost you $200 to $300 a year just to have that platform. But keeping in mind that that is hosting your website and the whole catalog of your business and allowing you to process through your credit card system. So it's a total, basically plug and play system. So you can get up to $200 to $300, and you can go beyond that with more functionality. And it allows you all sorts of things, like you can set up communities. There's all sorts of really cool features. But let's keep it simple. If you're wanting to set up a business, it's not that difficult. Yes, you're going to have to learn some things, but I'm going to tell you, anything that's new is going to take you some time to learn how to do it. Think of it this way. You didn't come out of the womb and start walking. If you say you did, I'm going to tell you you're lying. But you didn't come out of the womb and you didn't start walking around the room, okay? You're not a horse or an elephant or something where they get up and start walking around almost within minutes of, dropping. Okay, you had to learn how to walk. So, like with anything else, growing up, if you rode a bicycle, or you roller skated, or you skateboarded, or did any type of sport or activity, or learned how to swim, that's the key. You had to learn how to fill in the blank. You didn't just get on a bicycle and automatically had that wonderful balance and you knew what to do. You were kind of shaky and you may have fallen over and scraped your knee. And if you were like me, you probably cried a little bit, jumped up and got back on and went. But yes, it may have been a short period of time that it took you to figure out how to do that, but you still had to learn how to do it. Business is going to be the same way. Just because you have this fantastic idea and it's intuitive to you that, oh my gosh, everyone's going to buy this, and maybe you have this great marketing idea of how you're going to sell it, and people just want to buy it, just because it's the greatest thing since whatever. It's still complicated. You're still going to have to learn what works, what doesn't work, and I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that's been successful in business, if you ask them, if you go up to Elon Musk and you said, how did you know that Tesla was going to be successful? Well, the bottom line is he believed it was going to be successful. But if you asked him, how you got there, it was trial and error. And the best example of this is SpaceX. And I'm going to use Elon Musk as an example here. SpaceX was trying to figure out how to launch a rocket and have that rocket booster land so that they could reuse it. And Elon was talking about how they had to, test these rockets. Well, the first rocket explodes. The second rocket explodes. And they only had enough money for like one more rocket. And if that didn't work, they basically were going to have to fold up shop. And it was that third time. See, they learned from all of the experiences that led up to that time. And so that's what business is. You start, you're going to make mistakes. Hopefully, it's not going to blow up on you, but you're going to have challenges. You're going to have failures. You're going to have things that are going to come against you. But the bottom line is you got to figure out what works and what doesn't work. I've been in business for over 30 years and I've worked with companies large and small over these past 30 years. I've had my own businesses. My first startup in 2000 was a e-commerce site, but I was also manufacturing product. And I went in there with a bachelor's degree in business, and at that time, about 10 years under my belt in the corporate world and business world, and I still didn't know everything I needed to know. I had to learn, I had to figure it out. Even today, I have to spend time figuring out what's going to work, what isn't going to work. And once you find something that works, you stick with it and try to improve it. And when you break it, well, then you have to move on to what works next. So keep in mind that this is not a one and done. Business is about constant calibration and tweaking and trying to make better as you go along. And so when you start a business, it is a lot easier than you think. It's not as complicated. It's pretty simple. You have an idea, you have a product or a service, people have money and a problem, and they're willing to let go of that money to alleviate the problem. So they come along and they buy that product or service from you and give you their money so that you can give them the solution that solves their problem. That's business. It's simple. But what is complicated sometimes is what happens in between the I have a solution and I have a problem. And how do you reach them? Some of this is trial and error. You're going to have to get out there. Some people say to me, I'm not comfortable with selling. Then I'm going to say to them, you need to understand that when you go into business for yourself, you are selling. You're selling your idea, you're selling your solution, you're trying to fix a problem. You may even become the face or the brand of your business depending on what it is you're offering. If you're offering a service, you are the brand. I'm the brand of my company, Maximum Change. I've owned since 2005. That's when I birthed it out of an idea and I started it. And to this day, it has been evolving into what it is today. I started as a life coach. In 2005, I started as a life coach, even though I had all this experience in business. What I figured out was that there was a need for people to get help in how to start a business. And ever since the pandemic and going into this time where I'm recording this in 2022, November 17th to be specific, I'm finding that more and more people want to start businesses and they see opportunity out there. And what I want to do is help them to grasp that opportunity. So what I recommend is this. If you know what you're passionate about, you got to know what you're passionate about, because if you don't know what you're passionate about, it's going to be hard for you. When you're passionate about something, everything else is easy. But the second thing you need is you need to have an idea for a business. And that means that this idea has identified a problem that exists in the market. You have to find that problem, and then you have to find the solution to that problem. The solution is your product or service, okay? So you have to know what you're passionate about. You have to know what the problem is. You have to have a solution for that problem. And then you have to have a vehicle, a mechanism to take that product or service to market. Now, for me, I think that the best way, the easiest way to start a business is to start an online business. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of different ways you can have an online business. Everything from education to training to reselling, clothing. You can do drop shipping. I mean, there's so many different things you can do out there for free. And what it does is it allows you, when you have an online business, it allows you to have low overhead, meaning your costs are much lower. Now, when I started my business in 2000, we had to have raw material and we had to have packaging and we'd have to do shipping and you know, uh, we had to do all of this labor intensive stuff to create the product and then we had to ship it and it was expensive. At one point I had thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment and raw materials in my facility, and then you had rent and you had electricity and all that. When you have an online business, your overhead is much lower. And if you set it up correctly, like my business is a service, okay? And what I'm offering is education and training and mentoring. And I do this all via the internet and I use Wix as my website. So you can go over there, MaximumChange.com. You can see my website, and it's constantly evolving. I use Facebook to do live sessions like this. I have a YouTube channel where I post a lot of my content, and lately I've been doing a lot of TikTok, and a lot of that is free. The Wix website I have to pay for. I have a domain name, MaximumChange.com, that I had to pay for. And that, by the way, your domain name you can pay for year by year, or you can pay for it in multiple years. Of course, the more years you pay, you get a little discount, but it's obviously going to cost you. So you need to determine what it is you want to spend to start up. I can tell you right now, you can likely start a website with a domain name for $100 or $200 to get started, and you can start if you're doing like a service. Really what you need is a phone number and a website, domain name, a website, and you need to have some way to communicate with people. And so, really, my phone number, I use the Google number that you can get through there, and I think that's called uh, Google Voice. So if you do a search for Google Voice, the cool thing is you can actually get um, a area code number for your area. So if you think that if you live in Kansas and you think that it's beneficial for you to have a, I don't know, a New York telephone number, you can have that, or maybe you just want the Kansas area code. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is you can go to Google Voice, do Google search for Google Voice. You can set up a free number and you can actually have a way for customers to call you. You can set up your domain name through whatever GoDaddy or Network Solutions or wherever it is. And what is interesting about domain names, I just want to mention real quick. When I first started in business, domain names were just a flat fee. So MaximumChange.com, when I started that, or my very first business, when I started that, it was a flat amount per year. So let's say it was $35 to rent your domain name, basically. Well, now, depending on the type of domain name that you're getting, it can get pretty expensive and pretty complicated. And so keep in mind, I found, I came up with this idea for a domain name and I went and I entered it in, and now they got smart. They're like, oh, that's like a very highly demanded name. And so they're going to charge you a lot of money. And so you need to be careful because domain name companies no longer just have a flat amount. It's no longer a level playing field when it comes to that. Sometimes you may have this great idea for a domain name and they want 10, 20, $30,000 for it. I'm like, no. And so you have to do your homework and figure that out. If you're willing to spend that much money because you have just this fantastic idea, that's up to you. My goal is to help you get started for the least amount of money as possible. Now, the cool thing about Wix and GoDaddy and some of them, if you're going to buy into their web hosting platform where you're going to develop a website, a lot of them will get the domain name for you. So basically, they own the domain name. You can buy it or rent it directly, but which I do, but they will actually get the domain name for you, and they say it's free, but it's really built into the cost of what you're doing. So what I recommend is if you're really wanting to start a business, you're going to have to start with getting an audience. One of the ways you can get an audience is to really just start on TikTok or Facebook or wherever. The one mistake that a lot of people make when they're starting a business is they start with their friends and family. Now, I'm not saying that, friends and family are not viable customers, but what you're looking for are people that truly have a problem that you're trying to solve. If you're trying to teach people how to start a business, you're not going to sell to your grandma or your grandpa. I mean, let's face it, unless they are like hardcore entrepreneurially driven and they want to start their first business at, 80 some years old, like Colonel Sanders, which I don't have anything against, really your friends and family are not necessarily going to be the place that you start. So where do you start? Where you're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to go find customers. And part of that is, TikTok and LinkedIn and, Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. All these places have groups and different ways that you can connect with people. And the cool thing about, like, for me, TikTok, I think, is really interesting because it really, if you have someone that's out there and they're starting to do searches or they're starting to watch people that are doing entrepreneurial things or whatever, or maybe they're doing speeches. In my case, I'm getting a lot of traffic on my TikTok page for free. I'm not even paying for it. Now, advertising is a whole other discussion that I'm not even going to have because that's where it starts getting a little more complicated. But if you can get viral interest in your business to start off with, that is really helpful. And the way you do that is that you have to get out there and post on a regular basis. Many of these platforms expect you to post 2 or 3 times a day. I know Facebook has some algorithms where the more you post, the more they put it out there for for the natural feed. And so people that are interested in business type stuff and business topics, in my case, they'll it'll start showing on their timelines, and it becomes more of a natural way of doing that. LinkedIn has a similar thing where you get more organic reach from LinkedIn. TikTok has a really good organic reach. Facebook has kind of got it locked down a little bit more, so it really is involved with more of how many posts you're making and how much interaction you're getting. So there's a lot of complexity there, but to keep it simple, you got to get started. You're not going to actually have a business if you don't start. So, what are you passionate about? What is the problem that exists in the market? What is your solution, your business idea? And get out there and start testing it. The best way to start a business is to just start. And the best way to start is to start testing your idea, your product, your service, get it out in the market, and get going. If you have any questions or you need any help, you can send us a message here through our Facebook page. If you're watching this on another platform, or maybe you're seeing it because someone shared it, I encourage you to go over to MaximumChange.com and get in touch with us there. We do offer a package that will allow you to do monthly mentoring, and we do have training available. So hope you have a great day. I wanted to keep this under 30 minutes. It looks like I'm going to be able to. Again, if you need any help, go to our website, MaximumChange.com. You can email us at info@MaximumChange.com. You can message us through Facebook here. If you're trying to reach us on Facebook, you just do a search for Maximum Change. If someone forwarded this video to you, we would love to hear from you. I would love to help you. My passion is to teach people how to start and grow their businesses. Let's take your knowledge, your skills, your experience, and take those and turn them into profit through your own business. Have a good day.